Good evening, everybody. We're back at it with Dragon Warriors. This should be the last session for Fury of the Deep, unless something goes horrendously wrong. we lack Sir Alain to kind of chivvy everyone along and make them do things this session, so it may wander more than usual. We have a new player coming in to play Yannick Svolok, who hasn't been played in quite a long time. But the good thing about Dragon Warriors is level differences don't make a huge difference, and he should fairly rapidly catch up as we play. So to recap what's been going on here, our noble heroes were employed by a friend of Milano, a merchant of their acquaintance, to go with him to a sort of lost island, an island that has been shut off and essentially unnavigable for a very long time. And this island was part of the old Amphidian Empire, which predates even the Selentine Empire. The Amphidians are equivalent to the ancient Greeks, the Selentines, the Romans. So this island has basically been shut away, supposedly with the treasures of one of the Amphidian kingdoms, for at least a millennia. Then along come our lot and bust their way in and cause a bunch of cave-ins and press on into the temple ruins underneath the sort of secret chambers beneath this island, because the whole island was basically turned over into a temple complex. So they fought their way through. Everything is very sort of sea-themed because of the Amphidian god Poseidos, so Poseidon equivalent, obviously, to whom this temple was dedicated. So we rejoin our adventurers, and through the magic of not paying any attention to it, we'll forget that the cast has changed slightly, and we find them deep in the temple, having penetrated about halfway through it, and so they have a choice ahead of them. So when we last left you, you were in the Sanctum of Antaeus, having just finished dealing with your employer, who, as it turned out, was a horrible abuser who was keeping a Nereid prisoner. You've got her safe and secure in some water so that she can start feeling better and get back to her full natural power after she annihilated him. But you still need to find both the treasure that you originally came here for, so that it wasn't a wasted trip, and a way out, because the way in ended up getting collapsed in and there's no way back out there. So your choice is to retrace your steps to a path you haven't yet trod, which is back in the Hall of Penitence, where the big red crab thing was, or to press on down this branch of the dungeon that you were currently exploring, through into the next set of chambers, which is past a brass door to the southwest. So you can either retrace your steps back to the big red crab that was guarding the secret door, not a real crab, a thing on the wall, or you can press on deeper down this side of the dungeon.
I nominate Madruk to be our interim leader. We haven't heard too much from Ian, and that's just an observation, not a criticism or anything like that. What do you think, Ian? Would you?
I think
would you
Ian
take the lead
plays
as Madruk?
Abbas, doesn't he?
Oh, did I mix up the names? I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry.
Is it Abbas you're playing?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
technically, taking feudal ranks into account, it is a priest who's next in charge. Anyway.
I wasn't thinking of that, but that's a nice little bit of synchronicity.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Right. So Brother Abbas, the mystic, is in charge then.
And my first part of thing is I'm staying way away from statues. After what happened last time, I'm not going to go anywhere near a statue. I nearly got swatted like a fly. We won't have a chance to rest yet between this session, will we?
No, you won't have yet.
I'm in pretty deep in terms of being spent.
You did level between sessions, so you have an extra 4 magic points, I think.
I should have looked then. Okay.
Just wanted to double check I hadn't gone back up to my full hit points. That was all.
No.
I'm only -2 anyway, so it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. And you did pick up that box of health potions.
Yeah.
Albeit they're probably past their sell-by date.
And I did notice I've got that nice thing to give me a +1 on my armor factor as well.
Yeah.
I think we should press on the way we were headed.
Okay. Right, so... yeah, you push open the door and pass through. You're in a long passage constructed from granite blocks. Crossing the passage, you can see a dark doorway at the opposite end that overlooks a deep, dank chamber. A raised stone staircase starts to lead down through the darkness below, but after just a few feet, the stairway comes to an abrupt halt and drops off into darkness. At the furthest end, in the light from your hirelings' lanterns, you can see the steps emerge from the gloom on the other side and pass through another door.
What does the walls look like it's made out this time of the same materials as before?
It's less grand than the proper temple chambers. This whole sort of side of the temple complex seems to be of lower social status. So rather than marble everywhere, it's mostly black granite and simpler forms of stone. And the same seems to be true here. It looks like salt water has sort of seeped in, and there's no real way to know how deep the room is.
So it looks like it's been rubbed then, rather than taking time.
Yeah. It's pretty grimy. There's a lot of salt crystals around, similar to the cave chamber where you left the Nereid.
I'm going to approach the door and vibe it.
Okay. Well, you've opened the door, but you can get
sorry,
a
I thought you said there was a door at the other end. Sorry.
No, it just goes into darkness at the other end.
Oh,
It's an open doorway. Yeah, there's no door. But you can vibe the room if you want.
Okay. Just give me a second. It's under 40%. And I failed.
Okay. You get no real sense from the room. The sort of dank smell, like the tide line, is kind of putting you off your stroke.
I'll use Cyclops to see if there's any illusions in the dark that stand out.
Okay. You grasp the hilt of your sword, but you sense no illusions.
Thank you. Does it look like it every step we go? Does it look like it gets darker and darker and darker, or does it actually get slightly lighter?
No, it's just the black stone is absorbing the light, and the water that seeped in here has sort of settled and given the floor a sort of glossy blackness. So it's quite a lot of light's reflecting off the surface. So there's quite a lot of shine, so you can't really see any deeper. So you don't know how deep it is.
Okay. As long as it doesn't smell like kerosene, I'm okay.
No.
You're not that cruel, Grim, we know that.
Yeah.
How deep is the water? Is it just our ankles or our waist?
You don't know. Are you going to step into it?
Oh, right, I thought we were actually, when we were like walking down the corridor, we were actually walking down it. You know?
No, not
My
yet.
bad.
I wouldn't have you just wade into a puddle without checking with you. So
Right, I'll put on my conical buoyancy brooch thingy bob.
yeah, the Nautilus brooch.
Yeah, yeah. Do you want me to screw up ahead? Anyone else out there?
If you want to, yeah.
Okay, right. I'll take my time, gun, and scoot up ahead, taking it step by step, not rushing things.
It feels a bit weird because you're wearing the buoyancy amulet. It's like when you step into the water, you do sink into it, but it's because of the buoyancy amulet. It's like trying to walk through gravy or custard or something, some sort of non-Newtonian fluid. It feels really kind of bouncy and weird under your feet, but you slip forward a bit. What's your perception?
Perception is 14.
Right. You notice a very slight ripple in the water, fairly close to where you're sort of wading through.
Okay, I'm stopping.
Okay, you stop.
Now, was it like bubbles like ripple, or just like shredded ripple, or
like something was moving beneath the surface of the water?
Okay, how deep would you say roughly I am?
The water doesn't seem to go any higher than your knees, but it's very cold.
Okay.
Abruptly, the water splashes up and out, and a pair of skeletal, salt-covered looking things, undead things, draped with the matted remnants of hair and ancient robes, lunge up out of the water and grab at you, trying to pull you down.
Okay. I'll slash out with my sword when they try to grab me.
Well, they get surprised first.
Well, that's why I stopped when I saw the ripples, as soon as I stopped.
Yeah, but you didn't, get ready, so I'm being mean. What's your armor rating?
69. I'm a factor 3.
3. Okay. What's your strength?
10.
Okay. Okay, roll d20 twice and tell me the results.
First one is 7, and second one is 8.
Okay, they grab at you and drag you down. You almost buckle, but you manage to hold on. And now it's normal combat turns, so Caesaura's go.
How could I split my attacks except for getting a 1, which is a crit?
Sorry, how could you what?
How can I split? I'm not using main gosh because I'm using my magical plus sword. So, is there any way I can sort of split my attack into 2?
I guess you could divide your attack between the two targets.
Because that would be 10 on each.
If your attack's 20, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll do that then.
Okay, you need a crit to hit them.
Right, I'll just settle on the one which was tried to drag me down, or did they both try to drag me down?
They were both trying to drag you down. And you did already declare your action, so roll d20 twice.
First one is 11, and second one is 6.
Okay, so you thrash around with your sword in a panic, trying to strike at them. But they just hold on to you for dear life, trying to claw and bite at you. Right, Caradon.
I will unleash a bolt of dragon breath at one of the creatures.
Okay. Spend the magic points. That's speed 12, isn't it?
Yes, speed 12.
Okay, you need a 1 to 8 on a d20 to hit.
All right. Jason, would you throw a d20 for me, please? I forgot to get my dice out, and I'd rather not cause a delay.
Okay.
Is that okay, Grim?
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you.
I got a 5.
Okay, and how much damage does it do?
Does d6 plus 6. I will
I've
roll
got dice
that.
here.
Okay, you've got it. You go for it. Yes.
Okay.
I've got my dice out now. Thank you.
Right. You belch forth a stream of flame into the back of one of them as it clings on for dear life to Caesora's back. It singes it. A big cloud of fetid steam comes off its skeletal body, but it's still holding on, even as it smoulders. And the bones blacken and char. Right. Yannick's go.
Alright, I'm gonna take a shot with my bow at the creature that is holding on to our imperiled adventurer.
Okay, so I'm going to assume you had weapons readied because you've got hirelings to carry lanterns and things. So, yeah, you knock an arrow, draw back, and fire. What's your attack?
My attack is 12.
Okay, you're at close range, that's not penalised, so all you have to do is roll 12 or under on a d20. And a 1 is a crit.
Gotcha. That's a 2.
So that's a hit. Right, now if you look at your bow, there should be 2 dice numbers separated by a slash.
Yes.
Yep, the first one is rolled to get through armour. So you roll that and you have to get more than their armour factor
Very good.
to hurt them.
Alright, so the first roll is a 3.
Okay. I'm just helping you with the rules. They don't actually have armour, but just so you know for future. And then the second number after the slash, that's the damage roll.
Alright, just a moment. And that's a 2.
Okay, is that with all bonuses and anything taken into account?
Yes, it says sort of whatever. I rolled a 1 plus 1.
Yeah. So that's the bow, though, yeah?
Yep, that's the bow.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, so you rapidly take aim, loose an arrow. It strikes this skeletal monstrosity somewhere in its skin-tight shoulder blade. Penetrates into the dried-up flesh within, but doesn't seem to fell it, though it seems to barely be holding on. It's like it's slowly falling apart as it's holding on to Caesora. Every time he shakes and moves, another piece of skin sloughs off or a bone falls out. It's rather grotesque. Right. Semprino, the hireling, moves up next to you with his bow and looses an arrow. He hits and finishes it off with an arrow to the head. Right, so Caesora hears a sort of and a crunch in the skull. And that one slides off you. Almiro sets his banner at the entrance to provide protection. Abbas's go.
I'm going to try and twonk it to use a psychic blast.
Okay, roll for exhaustion.
No, I'm not exhausted. And it is a speed... Speed 16.
I always think it should be a magical attack roll, but... okay, roll 12 or under to hit.
Ooh, just 11.
And roll damage.
3. I'll bet you I dug out more d6 for this. Oh, low rolls. 8 in total.
Okay. So a bolt of telekinetic energy slams into the thing as Caesora moves around to put the creature in your direction. You hear bones snapping like dry wood, but it's still shrieking and biting and clawing at him. So we're on to the next turn. Now, John, you asked something about Dragon Warriors. Fixed damage is the default game, but I prefer using randomized damage. So
I prefer it as well. I was just wondering if it was your pure house rule or if they released an official supplement.
It's an option in the back of the main book I've got. I don't know.
Page 207 in your edition, John.
Thank you so much.
I've got the hardback here.
Yeah. But basically all you do is you take the standardized damage, double it, and that's about the dice you want to use.
The die type. Perfect. That's how I do it too. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Right, so new turn. Caesura, this thing's still clawing at you and shrieking, but one of them has been blasted off you.
Chop its bloody head off.
All right, so you shove it back with your arm and swing with your sword. Okay, what's your attack?
20.
Okay, you need 7 or under to hit.
3.
And roll damage.
That would be... just damage, yeah.
Yeah, just damage.
12.
Okay, you shove it back with your hand, hold it by what's left of its sort of scrawny bones that are sticking out through its chest, and lop its head off with one mighty blow. The body goes limp.
My body or its body?
Its body.
Alright, okay.
Nothing else seems to be stirring, so you think you put paid to these things.
Thank
Were
goodness.
they like a zombie stroke skeleton hybrid? Or was it a lich, or...
They looked like... you've seen peasants who are the victims of famine. They kind of looked like that, but they were definitely undead, the amount of trauma and damage you were able to dish out to them. So it's like every ounce of fat had wasted away, almost all the muscle had wasted away, so it was just like a sort of leathery skin suit over a skeleton.
Oh, right, so it's like a skeleton gimp.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Almost like a mummy, but a lot less powerful.
So, after this fight is concluded, I'm going to turn. There was a staircase within this room, correct?
Yeah,
Is that right?
a short staircase either end, one going down into the water, one going up at the far end.
Right. Okay. So I'm just going to sort of stand guard, not directly in front of the part of the staircase going up, just peering upwards in case something comes down.
Okay. Now that everyone's moved a little closer, you can see that the room beyond does have some stuff in it. It's... 1 second. Yeah, there's scraps and remnants of wood and cloth, and something glitters in the shifting light of the lantern.
I use my sword to sort of like shift it.
So what, you're moving through into the next room?
Yeah,
Okay.
cautiously.
Yeah, everyone else comes along with you, with Yannick holding up the rear now to guard in case anything comes up behind you, and you move in to that next room. The room you think was once a dormitory, and a sparse one at that. The conditions here are in stark contrast to the rest of the temple. Several large, perished piles of wasted food. 1 second. Of wasted food and scraps of material cover the floor. There are a number of small brass boxes inside these piles, and a large burnished mirror of metal takes up most of one wall, though it's now covered in verdigris and muck. A mosaic covers another of the walls, which portrays a handsome man clothed in a blue toga, wearing a large elaborate collar of yellow jewellery. Marble shelves hold long-abandoned jars of powders and unguents. Ivory hair combs, long broken, and other feminine accoutrements also line these shelves. The floor at the far end of the room appears to slope gently downwards towards a collapsed wooden screen. Jutting from the end wall, you see a large stone trough of scummy water.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
This might be really nitpicky, and I'm sorry if it is, but the scummy water, is it being replenished at a slow drip rate by something, or it's not evaporated or so on? Given the state of repair down here, I would imagine.
It doesn't seem to be being replenished. It seems to be the same sort of brackish, mucky salt water as was flooding that other chamber.
Semprino,
Si, Signora.
please watch my back. I've got a bit of a suspicion about this trough, and I'll poke about it with the blunt end of my staff.
Okay.
Kind of swirl the water a bit.
So you move up to it, and as you pass by this shattered old wooden screen, you see that there's a kind of collapsed stone grill in the floor there, and the slope in the floor seems to be leading down to that. When you poke around in the trough, you hear a clang and clatter of something down there, and there seem to be other things in there moving around. It's like stirring a pot.
Can I try and use the blunt end of the staff to kind of just fish something out, just kind of lever it up?
Yeah, you very carefully
Something
lever at
random,
it.
yeah.
Can you roll d20 equal to or under your reflexes, please?
Okay. Rolled a 4, so that'll definitely have made it.
Okay, so you get hook hold of something and push it up, and it's a somewhat dented brass bowl. It's definitely not the only thing that was down there.
I will fish it out and just try and ease it onto the floor so I can minimize the amount of noise it would make.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll call Elmiro over. Bring more light, please.
Okay, he brings the lantern over.
And I'll keep... Yes?
Yeah, so in the light you can see a bit better now, though it doesn't really penetrate the murk of the water. What it does do is shine a light down through the broken stone grill in the floor. You think this was some kind of drain for washing or toilet or something. It seems to be about 8 feet deep. No, sorry, 8 meters deep. And seems to end in water, more of this brackish, briny goop.
Does anyone in our group have any engineering experience or stone cutting or anything like that?
No.
No? Okay. I'll and you said I saw a few things moving underneath as well. Are there...
Just when you were stirring the pot, you don't think anything's alive in there.
Okay, so it was just detritus. Okay, I'll just fish one or two more random things out just to see if anything interesting comes up. Otherwise, I'll stop wasting time at it.
Okay, roll your reflexes a couple more times.
Okay, 2 more rolls here. A 20 and a 13.
So a total botch and a failure. Okay, right.
20 was the first die.
Yeah, so you drive your staff in and fish about again, get hold of something and prise it up. For a moment it seems caught, and then it suddenly comes loose. Your staff goes up in the air, and a big matted lump of soaking wet, half-rotten hair flies through the air and lands on top of Caesura with a wet splat.
What the fuck is...
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That is grotesque.
That's why I jumped. Going, what the fuck?
Yeah, you've got a huge matted lump of hair on.
Where's it landed? On my head, or on my chest, or on my face? Or
On your shoulder.
Oh, I'll chuck
I'll
off.
stop fishing about. Sorry.
Let me guess. This will be servants' quarters, I believe. Looking around Grim.
Possibly. It seems a tad feminine. Maybe temple virgins or something.
A harem.
I mean, yeah. Does that... I will say to our skull friend, my lady, who's the gentleman on the wall? And I will describe what he looks like, because what's her name's Keldon's fishing, so I'll speak to the skull.
I can see perfectly well. I'm dead, not blind. Kerodon has a
okay.
talking skull on the end of his
What are you
staff
doing now?
for reasons that should go unexplored at present. Well, I would say it looks like what that demonic thing was pretending to be. The figure there looks like Akarades, assuming that the illusion was correct.
Who's the Hades? Hades?
Hmm?
Herades. I know Poseidos is the god of the sea. So
Acherades, it was that demonic thing claimed to be the master of the temple, and that was his name.
got you. Cheers, my lady.
Of course, the other clue is that if you look at the top of the mosaic there, it does say "Beloved Acherades" in ancient Amphibian.
But I don't speak ancient Amphibian.
Mistress, I will. We'll remedy that over the coming winter. I shall take lessons.
Good.
From you, I mean.
Not as good.
Gentlemen, I suspect that given the nature of the quarters here, items of wealth and beauty, decorative adornments, perhaps encrusted with pearls and precious metals and all the other fine accoutrement that one would have draped on their ladies, might still be present here. I think we should suss about a little more deeply and harvest what we can. Well,
do you want me to go fishing this time?
Sure. And by harvest, I mean loot. Upkeep for the castle is rather expensive, yes? Let's not let anything sit in this foul water.
Right, I'll start fishing this time, Grim, because I think I've got the only one in the party who's got the highest reflexes.
Yeah, but you don't need to worry. You find a few more clumps of hair, another bowl. Nothing else really worth talking about. The jars and boxes probably once held perfumes and powders and oils and various other feminine accoutrements, but they're all kind of rotted down or evaporated or just foul in one way or another. You do find a pair of pearl earrings in one of the piles of ancient wood that was probably once a cot. But any further glittering, any further jewellery or anything seems to have fallen down this drain, because you're picking up a little glimmer now and again from down through the hole.
Right. Do you want me to go down under? Do you want me to go down under? I seem to like going swimming a lot.
I think it might be worthwhile, but
okay.
It's up to you.
Right.
If you're volunteering.
Yes, I'm volunteering. I'm the only one who seems to like do the most stupidest tasks, but at the same time get cursed a lot. Right, I'll give my backpack and that to one of the servants.
Yeah.
I won't wear the boy coat because that would keep me float.
Okay.
So
you're gonna have to prise this this stone grate out of the floor, but working together with the hirelings, that's not so much of a problem.
Yeah.
You lever it out. It does reveal what seems to be a drain that goes down into the water.
How far down? 8 meters, you said?
About 8 meters, yeah. You got rope.
Yeah, true. Is there anything we can tie the rope onto?
The rest of the party?
Cool! Right, lower me down, guys. Lower me down, please.
Okay. Bit by bit, you are lowered down into the drain. For a moment it goes completely dark for you, and then it lights up again as you no longer block the light from the lantern. And you hang down and down and down until you finally reach the water. Let me just work out where it is. Right. Your feet touch the wet ground. There's a pile of detritus here and a thin trickle of water. So your boots set down on a turgid, crusty mush that squelches quite revoltingly. But there's the glitter of gold and silver and perhaps gemstones amongst all the muck. You seem to be in a square-sided tunnel that's probably a sewer, but one that hasn't really seen use in about 1,000 years. Ahead, it ends in a dead end, but behind you, as you turn around, the tunnel stretches on into inky darkness.
Was I given a torch on the way down here?
No.
Oh, this is going to be hard.
And you left your pack up there.
Yep, I know. Please tell me my swords glow in the dark.
Your swords do not glow in the dark.
Bugger.
That would give you away. It's not very good for an assassin.
Yeah,
Sorry,
true.
mercenary.
Yeah, thank you. I'll shout up. Can someone chuck me down a lantern unlit, please, and then chuck me oil down, please?
Okay,
I'm
make 2 reflexes rolls to catch them.
Okay. First one, 14. Second one, 2.
Okay, you catch the lantern, which is tossed down from your pack, and the oil, and you strike a light.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, it's crudely but solidly built sewage tunnel. You're directly below this grate. In the light of the lantern, yeah, there's definitely bits of gold and silver and other shiny things studded in the ancient murk here. And the tunnel goes on that way. There is a very small trickle of moisture from the seepage.
Okay, how much loot would you say is down here? Too much to carry, or?
It's all bits and pieces, so no, it's maybe a pocket full.
Okay, I'll just scoop it up. Slowly, cautiously.
So you're just scooping up all the muck with the stuff in it, are you? Or are you going to pick out the individual?
I'm going to pick out the individual bits. Yeah,
Okay.
the juicy bits.
Yeah, you find a couple of pearls, a couple of other semi-precious stones, some broken links of gold and silver, some sweet corn.
Sweet corn? Sweet corn. Sweet corn? Good.
There's also lots of fragments of bone. Small pieces.
Childlike size, by any chance?
It's impossible to tell. The fragments are too small. And there's absolutely no marrow on them whatsoever.
Well, someone's obviously been hungry. Does the bone actually lead anywhere?
Does the what, sorry?
Does the bone actually lead
No,
anywhere?
it's all around this grill that you've climbed down.
Okay.
So you think the bone must have come down from the room above?
The search team, yeah. Okay.
You make an intelligence roll.
4.
Right, you probably shouldn't explore this by yourself, but sewage has to flow out somewhere, so this may provide a route to escape the temple once you're finished looting the whole thing.
Okay. Right. I'll actually levered back up. Voice back up.
Okay, yeah. Everyone pulls you back up into the room.
Right, guys. I've got good news and I've got extremely good news. Which one do you want first? And don't shout all at once.
The extremely good news. We're due for a pick-me-up.
We may have found a way out.
Oh, do tell.
Downstairs. I'll point to the way I went down. And the good news is I've got a funny feeling it might lead out to the sea, because back in the days, and when I'm just taking a rough guess here, so like using my own savvy here, but I reckon where I just was the sewer which it runs underneath the whole temple, and it may lead out to the sea, because there was like a further so-called couple of feet or meters in darkness, and if we kept on walking that way, it might lead us out, hopefully, fingers crossed. I came back up because I didn't want to risk it for biscuit, and there's a lot of like small bones down there as well. And anyway, Grim, being the son of a butcher, would I actually have any idea what type of bones
Normally, I would let you say, yep, those are cow bones or something, but they're just broken up into such small sections that you can't even tell what animal it's from.
Did you get a chance to tell if they were broken up as a result of being crushed or cut?
Good question.
They're so old and damaged, it's hard to tell much of anything. Make an intelligence roll again.
one spot on snake's eyes.
You think they were sort of chewed and gnawed and broken up as a result of that. Every sort of last bit of marrow sucked from the bones.
And then just chucked down here.
Yeah.
It's hard to say but I reckon it was just a refuge.
How long can you hold your breath?
Huh?
I mean, swimming down there, if that's a way out, I mean, how long would we have to hold our breath to get out if we go that way?
Not at all. Was it up to my ankles, you said?
Not even that. It's just a tiny trickle, but it's just wherever that flows out. You know, it might be deeper.
I didn't go deeper in because I was alone and I didn't want to risk it.
I misunderstood. I thought when you were swimming, you found an underground tunnel you were swimming through to get.
No, it was pretty dried up. There was just a trickle of moisture.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it might behoove us to maybe explore this so that we have perhaps a known escape route if we need to flee in a hurry, because this place is extremely unstable. Who knows what might occur later on? It could bring the whole complex down on us.
Yeah. You could drive a piton into the wall and tie the rope off on that, and then leave the rope here as a sort of permanent escape way.
Sounds like a plan.
But,
so you want to all climb down and explore this further to find a way out before you go back?
Well, I'm guessing at least 3 of us should go, maybe, or at least 2, not someone alone. So
maybe leave the hirelings to guard the entrance while you explore.
That sounds ideal.
Okay, so one by one, you descend into this sewer. It seems to extend out to the northeast. You can only really move through it single file, though.
Makes sense.
So probably Caesura front.
Yep.
Then Caradon with the range spells.
Yeah.
Then Abbas, then Yannick holding up the rear.
Sounds about right.
Okay. You follow the sewer tunnel to the northeast, quite some distance. You're amazed it's held up this well, but you suppose it was built to do that. Eventually, you arrive at a junction. You can either continue on to the northeast or turn to the right, 90 degrees.
Brother Abbas?
I was going to flip a coin.
Just give me a second. Let me have a feel. I'll get a feel, should I say? Failed again.
Okay.
Is there a breeze or a smell coming from either one?
Slightly fresher air is coming from the right.
Well, how about that direction?
I'll go right then, Grim.
Okay.
Seems logical.
All right. You move along to the right.
Ready.
You pass down more of the sewer, and then up ahead, the sewer's blocked by a mass of ancient filth, rocks, and rubble. A jagged crack runs almost the entire length of the tunnel toward the rockfall, while another fissure in the right-hand wall seems just large enough to walk through, and it's through that fissure that fresher air is coming.
Using my noggin, what is above us? By the layout of this temple we've been in. There's been so many cracks on the ceilings and floors. I'm just.
You think this matches that crack, or is it in roughly the same place as that crack in the statue room of the Cyclops?
Okay, I'll mention that then.
So the way onward is blocked, but you could take this right-hand path through the crack in the wall.
Yeah.
If I just peer through that crack, what can I see?
It takes a bit of shuffling around, but peering through, The crack seems to run at an angle through the rock here, and then opens out into a larger hole or gap or a small cave, and then the crack seems to go on even further.
Okay.
We should definitely explore and try and find we should go as far as we can down here so that we have a potential escape route mapped out. That's my suggestion. Brother Abbas,
Okay.
what do you think? Cesara, you're on board?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
on board, yeah.
Okay, so
And
Cesura moves forward. Yeah, you do enter this secondary little cave. It looks like the crack just sort of split the rock here into a gap that was already opened up by some ancient motion of the waters. There's a few cracks in the wall in other directions, but they seem too narrow to pass through. The crack on the far side, however, is still large enough to move through. So you press on. Cesura moves through there. It gradually widens and opens up, and then opens out into a much larger cavern. So this is a broad cave. There's low-lying water, which seems fresher than the other water that you've seen down here until recently. But there's a wet earth smell as well, which is a little bit different. But the water's still salty. And this cavern opens out into the darkness. In the middle of the cavern, there's a low mound of rocks. Looking out across this low-lying lake in this cavern, you can see one fairly large cavern entrance or tunnel almost directly to the south. There are two smaller tunnels to the right of it, and across the way to your left is another smaller tunnel.
so many options, so many choices.
Choice paralysis.
Using my noggin, what would be above us this time, Grim?
You're no longer certain. You don't think any part of the tunnel system, the temple underground, is directly above you.
Right, okay.
This cavern has some kind of water in it, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of low-lying water.
Yeah. Is it rippling? Is it rippling like it's connected to ocean, or is it rather still?
It's fairly still, but it is constantly rippling on the surface, more like a pond than the sea. Except that there's no wind to catch the surface down here. At least not to speak of.
Nobody fought. How big do the smaller tunnels look? If you would have to go on your hands and knees.
No, they're tall enough to stand, but only one of you could really fit down each of them. Whereas the broader tunnels, broad enough for three of you to stand abreast.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
We're using the word tunnel. When you're using that word, does that indicate worked stone with shoring?
No,
and
these are
some
natural
kind of
tunnels.
artifice? Natural tunnels, okay. Do any show any signs at all of having been reinforced or worked or used more, torch brackets or sconces or anything like that?
No, there's no indication of that here.
Okay.
What are you thinking, Kerrigan?
I don't want to necessarily get lost down here. I'm curious about how we could maybe save some time instead of just traipsing around down here in these tunnels.
I reckon we're in the sewers of the temple, and where we actually are now is actually the sewer outlets. So one of them is going to lead out to the sea in order for the sewer to go out, if it makes sense.
Yeah. Why don't we just follow the left-hand rule that we normally kept? We'll try and keep to the leftmost path, and then by process of elimination, maybe we can map everything out.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay. So you make your way along the edge of the wall, wading through the almost knee-deep icy water to reach the small tunnel there. You pass through the crack, and then it widens out into a larger tunnel, and then a small cavern, and then back down almost to a crack again, and out into a tunnel that's running north-south. So do you wish to go north or south?
Which way's left?
I think south.
South? Okay. Yeah, you just carry on along this winding tunnel. It's very slightly going downward, you think. After a long hike through the twisting rubble-strewn tunnels, you eventually spot a large opening in the wall to your left, which overlooks a chamber full of dark filth. Meanwhile, the tunnel continues straight on ahead.
Right. Everyone about their eyes for a sec.
Oh, flashbang time?
Yeah, flashbang time.
Isn't that... Well, okay. I thought maybe we can... I'm looking for maybe a mundane way to create light, or if I have a spell. I'm not totally familiar with all the spells.
Keep the MPs, because we need MPs.
Yeah. Save your mystical energy, your creme.
Okay.
You want to call
Yes, okay.
Alright, so you cover your ears, close your eyes. Zora tosses a flashbang in there.
Into the dark field.
Yes. It lands in the darkness. There is a sort of splot and a bang. It's not as bright as you were expecting it to be. And you're hit in the face with the mulch of 1,000-year-old shit.
God, I love this shit. God, I love it.
Good thing you wear that mask.
Yeah, it's a good job of wearing the mask. Yeah. First I hear clump of hair, then no shit.
You hear rocks falling and echoing here and there around the tunnels. There's a brief blue flame that sort of runs across the top of this load of shite, but that rapidly burns out.
Methy?
You just lit 1,000-year-old farts on fire.
Yeah, I guess that.
Alright, that doesn't seem to be worth exploring, so I guess you're going to press on.
Yeah.
Alright. The tunnel's broader now and taller. You're able to walk more naturally. And the light can get further ahead of you. Eventually it starts to turn to the west and finally opens outward. You approach the shore of a dark underground lake. The dim light of your lantern reveals that the rock ceiling descends sharply to meet a beach of black sand and dried black seaweed on the other side. There's a large cavernous opening directly to the north of where you are, and it looks like there's this black sand beach on the other side. There may or may not be another tunnel on the other side as well, much narrower.
Are there any indications from airflow and whatnot that, as Yannick kind of hinted, we pay attention to earlier, indicating where airflow might be going?
You can hear waves if you hold your breath and listen. And air seems to be flowing in a westerly direction.
All right. Looks like we should probably properly sort out exactly how to get out of here before we go back in and suss out the rest of the complex.
Sounds like a plan.
Follow the path of shit.
Follow the path of shit. We're
the
off
yellow
to see a
piss
shit
road?
wizard. Yeah, but you have this lake in the way.
If only someone was, well, so lucky as to have a family member named Bob. Maybe an uncle?
Hmm.
It was Cesora who was bobbing around earlier, no?
Yes, it was Sizzle bobbing around. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was wearing my Nautilus badge.
Looks like it's time for a little bit of the old fish and tackle.
Yeah, that sounds about right. It's about time too I got some of this shit off me. Put the Nautilus badge on, Grim, and go for a swim.
Okay. Right.
Taking it cautiously, not noisily. Just
Yeah.
if it's possible, do it stealthily in the water.
Okay. You skim along the surface of this dark water. And it's something over, maybe it's 120 meters across to the far beach.
Mm.
There are things moving in the water, but fortunately none seem to be taking too much of an interest in you. You arrive on the far shore. It's black sand, dried up black seaweed, and gleaming amongst all of that is a giant pale white, milky almost looking conch. The sheer luster of it looks like moonlight to you. But on this side, behind this beach, the tunnel goes onwards to the west, and you can definitely hear waves and feel the breeze.
And the conch is clean, correct?
Yes,
Or
the
it's
conch is...
certainly not covered with 1,000-year-old poop.
No.
Very perceptive.
Well, it flew in. Like it came in during the high tide. So we should check this out, but we also have to figure out if there's going to be a tidal issue, because if we're at low tide, then this cave is going to be useless to us.
Yeah. And the rest of you need to find a way across the lake. Cesora got the impression that this was pretty deep here.
How treacherous is swimming in this game?
Not hugely, unless something's in there to get you.
Yeah. Well, why don't we just... What if you went ahead to confirm that this was a way out, and then we just confirmed that there wasn't anything here to eat us?
Okay, sounds like a plan.
Yep. Okay, 1 second.
All right, so in this case, I'll take my sword. I'm going to rile up the water.
Okay, just give me a sec. Okay, so while Cesora searches onward, you drive your sword into the water and stir it around.
Yeah, kind of like I'm fishing, just like you had something kind of skimming across the surface, or struggling even.
Right. You see a few shapes bob up to the surface, not too far away. It's very pale looking, and very close to you, a crab claw the size of your arm reaches up briefly out of the water and snaps the air before withdrawing.
A very large crab.
Yes. So Cesora is scouting ahead just to make sure that there's a way out here. So you pass along the tunnel and then step cautiously along a ledge where water's constantly running back and forth. You enter a chamber of glistening granite that surrounds a deep, wide pool of clear, fresh-looking seawater, which is connected to a channel through a small gap in the rock. There are fish and crustaceans in here, and unlike the ones deeper in, these aren't pale. They look like the colourful creatures you're used to. There are fronds of still wet seaweed. The ledge continues on in a circuitous route along to what appears to open out into a larger cave. you want to just press on?
Cautiously, yeah.
Okay. The cave opens out. The sand here is a mix of the sort of dark black and grey sand from within and the cleaner, fresher looking sand from without. You're in the sea cave, you think, right on the beach. The sunlight is coming out through the cave entrance. You can hear the waves crashing and the gulls crying. It's all sand, but there's low-lying seawater over the whole thing. It doesn't really go any higher than your ankle. But yeah, this is definitely a way out.
Okay. Take note.
Yep.
And then head back.
Okay. Do you want to be cautious swimming back across? How are you going to approach swimming back?
Just the same style I was doing on the way in. So,
Okay.
selfie. Yeah.
Right. What's your perception?
14.
Okay. You're swimming over. You're about halfway back, making good time because of the buoyancy charm. When something big and white sort of bobs up out of the water close to you and starts homing in on you, you can see the sort of V-line ripple on the surface of the water as it accelerates.
Is it going faster than me?
Yes. And the rest of you can see this as well. Cezora's about halfway back.
Okay, I will. Since I'm. Would you say I'm floating, or would you say I'm walking on water?
You're floating. You still have to swim. You can't stand on it. It's not a.
Well, I've got my sword at the ready, so.
Okay. So
Is it? Well, my sword's already drawn. Is it possible to actually be in a combat stance in the water? Is it possible?
No, and you wouldn't have your sword drawn, or you wouldn't be able to swim. So you can stop and sort of tread water and draw your sword if you want.
Yeah.
Okay. 1 second, please. Okay. Right, so the rest of you see this thing zeroing in on him. Right, Cezora's at the ready though, and gets to go first. So this thing, whatever it is in the water, is accelerating rapidly towards you.
Can we all act?
Yeah, I've got your initiatives here, so I'll go through them in order.
I will counter-attack it. If it's coming in straight to me to do attack, I will counter-attack it. So, in other words, I'll parry it and subdue it.
Take a 9 away from your attack and roll.
10. Ouch. My attack's 20, so yeah, I did it.
So that's a hit.
by 1.
Okay,
Yeah.
Roll to bypass armor.
9 plus 1, that's 10, plus the magical swords, that's plus 3, so that's 13.
Okay, and damage?
8.
8. Right as it gets close, you drive your sword forward, almost sort of overbalancing into the water, but you strike something. It doesn't make any noise, but you definitely feel your blade strike something beneath the water. Right.
Basically, as I said, Grim, what I was going to do is if it was going to attack me, I was going to counter-attack and use its momentum to attack it back, if you know what I mean, rather than thrusting it. Yeah. Okay.
Right, whatever it was, keeps on coming, slashing itself against your sword and rears up out of the water. You're abruptly faced with an eyeless eel of an enormous size, with sharp needle-like teeth. It lunges forward and tries to bite you. What's your defense?
My defense is 11.
And your armor?
3.
Okay, its jaws clamp into your shoulder, but don't penetrate the shoulder plate of your armor. Caradon, you hear the sounds of battle out in the water and thrashing and splashing.
Am I able to clearly perceive what's happening?
Not clearly, but you can see something is reared up out of the water and Cesora is slashing at it with his sword.
Well, that certainly can't be good. Very roughly, what's the range? I imagine it's beyond 20 meters.
It's about 50 meters.
50 meters, okay.
50 to 60 meters.
Yes, I don't believe I have anything that can go that far. So I'm SOL.
So shout words of encouragement.
Yes, we'll help you. We're hang on, don't die.
Yannick. So Jared, what do you want to do?
I'll fire my bow.
Okay. You bring it up, knock the arrow, sight down as best you can, take 3 away from your attack, and roll that or under.
Right. So that's a miss.
Okay. Arrow flies out, disappears into the darkness, and there is a very distant plop. Semprino comes alongside you with the same idea, and fires, and hits.
Pardon me, Jim. I don't believe Semprino would be there. Did we?
Oh no, sorry. Yep, they were on guard, weren't they? So yeah, he can't. Okay, never mind. Abbas.
I will try blasting it with a psychic bolt.
Can that reach that distance?
How far away is it, sorry?
50 to 60 meters.
Oh, no. Bit out of range. I'll try with my bow then.
Okay. Unlimbering and preparing your bow will take your turn this turn.
Okay.
Okay, so new turn. Cesora, you're locked in mortal combat with this huge eel.
Okay. Slicing and dicing time.
That almost sounded cheerful. That okay.
Right, take 9 away from your attack and roll that or under.
4.
And armor penetration?
Pinky. 10.
And damage?
12. 13. 14.
14 damage.
Yep.
Okay, right. You drive your blade into its mouth as it rears back to attack you again. It shudders a couple of times and then slides off your blade into the water and just sort of bobs away, giving you the opening you need to get to the exit. Right.
Now, tell me that was a conga eel or what?
No, it was just one.
Oh, just one?
Yeah.
Fuck me.
So it wasn't a conga eel, because there'd have to be more than one.
Do eels thrive or exist in packs and so on? I know eel is eaten quite often in Britain, so given that our characters are from Ellisland, which would be an analog.
Yeah. They can shoal, yeah, but this one seems to have been alone.
It probably ate its siblings.
Right, but you're back on the shore, and so you've secured the exit.
Well, we haven't confirmed that was the only creature in here, so I'm just going to, with my sword, just actually, do we have little rocks in this area? I just want to if there's little rocks on.
Yeah, there's plenty of bits of rock.
Yeah, I'm just going to throw rocks into the water for the next 5 minutes.
Plop, plop, plop. There's lots of things moving around in there. And they do seem to take an interest in the rocks falling in.
Great. Okay, so if there's enough rocks, I'm going to throw some far, and then as they generate... tell me if I'm wrong, gentlemen, but we need to try to clear out this room so we have an exit. That's the idea?
I think, yes, that's an idea. I don't think we'll... I mean, we can actually use some of our actual foodstuffs as bait. I can provide us with some...
whatever we can do to... Yeah, because whatever we can do to draw them closer to us, I figured, and if we can do it one at a time, all the better.
Exactly.
So why don't I? Well, let me try one gambit because this will cost us less resources.
If you guys stand with your bows ready, if you want me to manipulate a line or whatever your gambit is, I'll gladly do that, of course.
Oh, sure, yeah. I mean, I was going to start with rocks and throw them far, and as something gains our attention, throw them a little shorter, so that
lure it in, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And if that doesn't work, then we should try food.
Okay, that's a good idea. You tell me, or just nod so we're quiet on this end when you want me to throw another rock, and I'll do as best I can.
Yeah. Start
Okay.
tossing rocks, and I'm not gonna fire my bow until this thing's close because I don't want to piss it off until we're ready to be in melee.
So I'm now the tosser, the rock tosser.
If only you had a dwarf in the party.
No, Grim.
Right. With that degree of preparation and so on, it's easy for you to take out several of these beasties. It's not gonna be a real issue for you at all. So I'll just let you kill a few that way.
And they can feed on their mates, right? We can chum up a couple of them, perhaps,
Yep.
and now we have more bait.
The only thing that is going to cause you a problem is as you're chopping up one of these things, an enormous crab sidles up onto the beach, snapping the air with its claws. And
When you say enormous, do you mean like soccer ball sized or, VW Beetle sized?
like man-sized but hunched down. So
Holy Jesus.
just the body is like a person curled up in the fetal position. It's covered in scars and ridges and barnacles.
What are those things from Fallout? Those crab
Mirelurks.
things. Ah, yes. Okay.
Yeah, but low down. It only has one eye stalk, and it has one enormous pincer, much bigger than the other. And
Do we try? Oh, sorry.
Do I see this on my way back, Grim? Or
No,
am I
this is
already back
after
home?
you're back and people have engaged in the plan of
Right.
getting these things up onto shore and so on.
Do we track ammo in this game?
We do. So you
How many-
fired 2 arrows. You have 20 in a quiver normally.
Right, but if I was just killing a room full of these things, I must have shot more.
Yeah, you can cross off a couple extra, but I mean, if you're getting them close to the shore and then hacking at them, that doesn't cost you any ammo.
They'll float, will they not?
Okay.
Isn't there enough wood on a longbow or warbow arrow to
They probably would, but finding them in the dark is going to be the tricky part.
Ah, yes, I'm sorry.
Right, but yeah, this crab kind of catches you by surprise while you're preparing. But not completely by surprise. So yeah, this enormous crab hauls itself up onto shore, snapping the air. And initiative order as per normal. So, Caesura, you're the first to react. It seems to have been attracted by all the blood and chopping of pale white cavefish flesh.
Go for its white pincher.
The big one.
Yeah.
Okay. Take 10 away from your attack and roll.
4.
Okay. Roll armor penetration.
9.
Okay. And
9
roll.
plus 3, that is 12.
Okay.
actually.
And roll damage.
6. Plus 3, that's 9. Plus 1, that's 10.
Okay. Right. Your sword smashes into the surface of the crab, but barely seems to penetrate. It cracks the shell slightly, but doesn't seem to have gotten very deep through it at all. It was like hitting a rock.
Ooh, granite crab.
Yeah.
Crunchy.
The crab snaps at you with with both of its pincers. What's your defense?
Defense is 11.
Okay. It strikes you with both pincers. What's your armor?
Me.
Both penetrate. You take 7 wounds of damage.
Is that off health?
Yeah.
Yes.
So it grabs hold of Caesura in its gigantic claw and crushes him with it, and while it's crushing, it's trying to sort of pick at him with its other claw, like it's trying to pull him to pieces.
So it's a wishful me then.
Kerridan's go. You're muted.
Sorry, I was just writing a game-specific note that I'm going to be sending in a moment, but it doesn't relate to the combat. I will unleash a Dragon's Breath bolt at it.
Okay.
Hopefully the fire will be enough to scare it away back, or at least startle it away so it maybe cowers for a moment and others can get the drop on it.
9 or under to hit with that.
All right. 2.
And how much damage does it do?
D6 plus 6.
Okay, roll that.
All right. For 10 points in total.
Okay. Right. It barely pays any notice whatsoever to you belching phased. Yannick.
We have a challenge on our hands. Finally.
I'm going to cast Silent Warrior. I don't know if I can move and cast a spell, and I don't know the range of the spell, but I want to put that warrior as close to the crab as possible.
Yeah. Let me just look it up. Spells. Yeah, so you use those magic points, so just keep track of how many you spent somewhere. Sorcerer, Warlock, Mystic, Elementalist, Warlock.
I'm guessing a level 1 spell requires 1 magic point?
Yep, that's right.
Okay.
Attack 18. D10
Okay,
for
there are
range.
some spells that a Warlock is able to cast simultaneously as an action. So Silent Warrior isn't one of them, unfortunately. Right. Yeah, so holding your sword, which I'm assuming was ready from fighting the things, you make the arcane gestures and intone the correct commands, and out of the ether, a phantasmal warrior appears and strikes at the crab.
Shall I roll?
Yep. Let's see. You need...
It's got an attack of 18. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Its defense drops that by 5, so yeah, you still get under that. Right.
Okay, so... Oh, sorry.
And it's D10 armor penetration and then D10 damage.
So armor penetration was 1. Damn it.
Okay. So yeah, he strikes a blow with his sword, but it just ricochets off the shield and the phantasmal warrior disappears. Abbas.
I will attempt to blast it with a psychic bolt if I can.
Stick to what works, eh?
Yep.
Alright, roll for exhaustion.
Oh, no, it's not a percentile. It's a d20 for exhaustion. Oh, no, I'm all right. Right, rolled nice and low, then on a 5.
And the speed was...
16.
Right, I'll just roll since I'm here. Yeah, it hits. Roll damage.
Nine points of damage.
Does armor reduce that? Does it
Yes,
say?
minus armor, sorry, yeah.
Okay, so 9 damage minus armor. Okay. Right, it's knocked skidding back slightly in the sand by the force of that blow, and cracks do appear in its shell, and fluid starts to leak out. Froth bubbles up at its mouth parts. Caesura.
I'm going to hit the new wound which has already been inflicted in it by Brother Abbas. I'm going to hit it with my toy.
Sorry, I missed that.
I'm going to hit the wound which has been inflicted into it.
Yeah.
So I'm using my sword and going to sort of like smite it.
Okay. So you bring your sword around in your hands and stab down into one of these cracks.
Yep.
Okay, take 5 away from your attack and roll.
14. Yep, do it.
And armor penetration.
That will be 12.
And damage.
And that will be 7.
Okay.
Plus 1, that's 8. Plus 3, that's 11.
11.
Yep.
Okay. It seems to be on its last legs, which is no mean feat because crabs have 10 of them. Right. Keradan's go. Yeah, so you got your blade into the crack in its shell and yanked it sideways and levered off part of the shell.
I will draw my own.
So, go on.
Sorry. I will draw my blade, and if it's possible to combine that with an attack in the same round, do so. If not, I will just draw my blade and prepare.
Yeah, so you draw and prepare your blade. As regards your note, the Valandar weapons are personal to each person, so you can't hand them off to each other and get the same
Okay, so
bonus.
they are bonded, yes?
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. But in terms of game mechanics, how is the short sword different than a sword then? Is it like an arming sword, or are they...
It's different armor penetration and different damage.
Okay.
So a short
Thank
sword
you.
is a gladius style sword.
And
Think
it does
of the
D8, yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Yannick.
All right, I'll charge and attack with my sword.
Okay. You throw yourself up close to the creature. It's got no defense left, so just roll under your attack. What, equal to or under?
That's a miss.
Okay.
And
you try. Go on.
while I'm at it, well, actually, never mind. I'm not going to bother casting a spell. I'm going to let it go.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's all right. You come in at the side of it, but it's trying to twist and turn to keep its wounded section away from you, so you fail to find a proper opening to attack. Abbas.
I'm going to try hitting it with a sword this time, I think.
Okay. So you move in alongside Yannick.
Yeah.
So roll attack or under.
It's 50. Has it used all its defense already?
It has, yes.
Yep, got a 2. So that's D8, D8, D8. Armor penetration is 4.
Okay. Yeah, it just bounces off the surface of the shell. You took the opening that Yannick gave you, but it wasn't sufficient. The crab has horribly slowed down, but continues to crush Caesura in its claws. What's Caesura's defense?
11.
Okay. It's losing its grip on you. Its shell's breaking up, and the ichor that's pouring through the gaps in the shell is making it slippery, so it loses its grip on you. And it's your go.
I'm going to attack the wound which Yannick inflicted on it.
Okay. Take 5 away from your attack.
12. Hit it.
Okay. Armor penetration.
8.
And damage.
What was that, sorry?
Damage.
8 plus 1, 11 altogether.
Okay. This time you manage to plunge the sword right into the gap in the shell, and the thing just froths, rears back, and then collapses to one side, utterly dead.
And I'll land in a heap.
Yeah.
It was my turn. Damn it!
But that should
I
have
just-
cleared the lake.
Good job. You saved the lady from a bit of work. I'll sheath my weapon. Now I don't have to spend 20 minutes cleaning it.
Would I know from my sense of time if this is high tide or low tide?
It's not quite to low tide yet, so you've got time. You can
Right,
always wait
presumab-
out a tide if you have to.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, but what is that, like 12 hours or something like that?
Something like that. isn't it?
Presumably.
Yeah, 2 high tides and 2 low tides every day. So. Oh, Jason's dropped off. Hang on.
Sorry about that. I got cut off.
Crummy internets.
Yeah. The thing is if someone tries calling me, it puts me on mute on incoming calls on Hangouts. So basically, I then have to then get someone to phone me back. I do apologise.
That's right.
So,
Right, so you're done with the crab. You've cleared the way out. You know the path. You've got time until the tide rises and floods the tunnels. So the only thing left to do is go back to the temple and take the path not taken.
right, before we do this, I advise we go back to the beach and charge our batteries before we do one final sweep, because I am feeling fucking sore. But my French.
Yeah, you could camp out overnight and make your way back into the tunnels in the morning. Someone should probably tell Semprino and Ubertino, though.
I was just going to mention that. Yeah, we don't want them to be at overnight by anything. So
Okay.
I'll go. Anyone volunteer to go back and get them with me?
Yeah.
I'll come with you.
All right.
You can just do that. There's nothing to stop you. Okay, so you get them down the rope, and you all go out onto the beach. Light a big fire from driftwood, cook some giant crab, share some sailor stories. Drink, eat, make merry.
Walked off the poop.
Yes, wash off the goop in the waves.
Our narrate friend.
Yes.
I'm wondering.
Yeah, you can go and get her as well. She looks a lot better having soaked in the salt water.
Excellent. Good.
Yeah. And while you're eating and drinking and swapping stories and so on, she plays in the waves and dives and swims, though she still lingers fairly close.
She frolics. Good. She can enjoy herself after God knows how many decades of slavery.
Who knows? But she clearly feels some sort of debt of gratitude or debt of honour to you. You wouldn't have been surprised if she just took off into the sea and left, but she's hung around. Anyway, if you have a trance capability, such as Cesora does, you can have all your health points back. Magic users can have all their magic points back, and anyone else can have 1 hit point back.
Thank you, Rick.
Before we complete our rest, I have a couple of. Does anyone need any health restored before I recover my energies?
I was about to make the same offer.
No, I've only got 1 hit point that I'm missing, really, so I'm all right.
Yeah, I don't think you need to worry about healing magics, but they're there.
Okay.
So so everyone can get back up to full health and full magic points.
Thank you.
Right, so after a good night's rest out under the stars, so it's a warm, pretty close night, a Grecian summer.
Question, Grim. Question.
Yeah.
Sorry for interrupting. Was the way we came out the cave entrance on the beach?
Yes, it was.
Surprise, surprise.
You rest, you sleep, you wait for the tides to change, and then as soon as you think you can make it through the caves back to the rope, back in you go, up through the tunnels, up the drain, into the temple complex, and back to the path you hadn't yet trod. So how are we doing for time? Oh, it's only 9:05. Okay. Right. So from where the crab carving in the wall was, you open the brass doors and pass through to the chamber within. This chamber's a sort of trapezoid shape with a pair of enormous double doors at the far end. The narrow part of the trapezoid is where you are, the broader point where the large double doors are. It's a broad hallway of more simple granite, but it does have 2 rows of high marble pillars. At the far end of it, perhaps 30 metres away, stands a pair of elaborate carved massive brass double doors. The doors hang off their hinges at a strange angle, and every inch of them is covered in a weaving pattern of concentric walls. A jagged crack runs horizontally across this room, splitting it almost in half. And halfway along the hall, near the split, stands a small stone plinth.
What's on the plinth?
Nothing seems to be placed on it, but it's hard to tell from this angle, but you think it's carved.
So there's like an imprint on the actual plinth.
Yeah.
Compass size by any chance?
You won't know without going closer to it.
Do you want me to lead again?
Why don't we just turtle up together and move slowly?
Okay. We'll hold hands.
All right. So staying fairly close together, you move forward between the first set of pillars up to the crack and the plinth. The plinth appears to be an offering place. The top of it is carved in the shape of a crab, and the crab is holding a scallop shell, with the shape of the scallop shell forming the indent here.
We recovered a scallop shell, yes.
Yeah, we did, yeah. Did, yes. I remember, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Shall we fish it out?
Yeah, why not? Do you want me to put it on?
Of course.
Okay. Cautiously, Grim, very, very steadily put it on.
Okay, it fits almost exactly into the shape in the plinth. And from the walls either side of these giant broken doors, there is the sound of the world's largest clock being overwound and its spring breaking.
Fuck. That's my brain.
That would maybe cause the floor to shake a little bit, or at least some vibrations to go
Yeah,
up into the gut.
there's some vibrations, and the doors sag even more on their hinges.
Whoever made this temple, I want to know who it was.
A lot of moving parts here.
Mm-hmm. Is there any other incantations for this intention?
No, that's it. It looks like it was a locking mechanism for the doors, but whatever it was is broken, like the doors.
So basically the shell was like the key to open the door, right?
Yep, so it would seem.
Well, whatever's in this temple now knows, but it's not alone.
I'll
Looks like
say.
these doors- yeah. It looks like these doors are the only way which we're going to have to go to. Ain't that right, Grim?
Yep.
Lead on.
Are these doors?
I'm being sorry. No, go for it.
I'm sorry. Were these doors closed?
They
are
were
they-
hanging off their hinges, so you can get through them.
Okay, yeah. So we're great. Perfect.
All right. So you move forward, edge through the doors. There's enough of a gap to fit through. On the far side of them is a very wide staircase made of rose marble that descends down into the dark.
This place is huge.
It is.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it. That's what I'm saying. I just want to know who the architect was.
Well, there's no other way to go. So, assuming you press on carefully, slowly, you make your way down the stairs. They gradually narrow and then straighten out, still going down and down and down. until they finally open out into a small antechamber with another set of big brass doors. These ones are still polished as though new. You can see your reflections in them, though somewhat distorted.
Are we going to go up and shut the door, Brother Abbas?
Certainly, my son.
Thank you, Father.
Okay,
Right.
vibe
I'll
check, I take it?
Pipe check.
Certainly, yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. The brain power is not with me today.
Except when you're blasting things.
Well, that uses a different together.
Okay, but you failed, so I don't need to worry about if there's anything in there anyway. Okay, fair enough. And you don't sense any traps.
Excellent. Oh.
They don't seem to be locked either.
How inviting.
Right. You ease the doors open. As the bronze doors part, they reveal a huge chamber crisscrossed with massive marble columns and huge buttresses. These great fluted columns are a pale cream colour with black basalt bases and crowns. The floor is tiled with glazed ceramic slabs in blue and white that echoes a matching high-vaulted ceiling some 60 feet overhead. A great carved face of a stern, bearded man, obviously that of Poseidos, juts impressively from the centre of the right-hand wall. Against the opposite wall is a majestic marble dais and a huge throne, clearly once the domain of a great and mighty monarch. And there's a small door in the far side of the chamber.
Any illusions, Grim?
You detect no illusions.
I want to look at this mask a little bit more closely. I'm not masked, but the
head.
but the carving on the right, yeah.
Can you roll a d20 equal to or under your perception, please?
That would be a fail.
Okay. Right. You stroll up to this gigantic carving of Poseidos. This face is like 10 meters wide. It's enormous, with its mouth open in a roar.
Okay. Can I see anything that's mechanical?
No, there doesn't
With
seem
it inside the mouth or anything? Okay.
Oh, well, okay. You peer inside the mouth. You see that the lower teeth and the tongue, where it's carved, are worn a little more smooth than the rest. And as you lean in to get a much closer look, you see that there is a gold necklace at the back of the statue's throat.
All right. I'm gonna see what I've got here for sundries. I'm gonna take my belt off.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tie. I guess. Oh, I've got a big old buckle on it. I'll tie it like my gloves to it, you know.
Yep.
And I'm just gonna start fishing around in there and try to pull the necklace out. But I'm gonna like toss the rope in and then duck downwards when I do it. So something shoots out of the mouth.
Yeah. Nothing shoots out of the mouth. The jaws don't shut. And after fishing around for quite some time, you manage to hook the necklace out. It seems to be ceremonial. It's made up of lots of squares of gold. Pretty heavy. Should be worth something.
I'll tuck it away.
Okay. Does anyone want to check anything else?
Yeah, let's check the throne, gentlemen.
Yep.
Oh,
What's
sorry.
the phone made out of?
Okay, so while you're fishing around for the necklace, everyone else checks the throne. Contrasting starkly with the blue and cream-coloured hall, you approach the imposing dais of white marble that rises along the wall here, topped with a towering throne of exquisitely sculpted brass and a dozen large decorative scallop shells sculpted from deep purple quartz arrayed around it. Upon the throne, you see a large trident and an ornate wreath constructed from seashells.
Any secret compartments or anything on the phone?
Make a d20 roll equal to or under your perception.
12. Yeah, I did it.
There are 3 holes in the back of the seat of the throne, equally spaced, and there's some kind of mechanism in there, but you can't quite get enough light in there to see.
Do the shapes look like anything we picked up? Like the shelf previously?
They're 3 circles of equal size, about the size of your thumb.
Can I get a bit more light around here, please, for a sec? That's one of the torch bearers on.
Yeah, the hireling can bring the torch over.
Yeah.
I mean, you were lucky to spot this mechanism in the first place because it's kind of hidden in all the scroll work and the holes through the carving. But yeah, these 3 holes in particular, equally spaced along the back of the throne, have some kind of mechanism behind them.
Let me guess, one's for Nautilus, one's for Dolphin, and one's for Shell.
Nope, they're all perfectly circular.
Question. For folks who have used the system and the magic spell definitions and how they work much more than I ever have, Detect Aura does include objects in the description.
Yeah.
If I were to use that spell, would I be able to get useful information from an object? Maybe if it was emotionally charged for harm or benefit, for example.
It's more magical auras.
Okay.
Let me just have a look at the full text of the spell. Detect aura. It's level 2, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's not just magic, but it's anything supernatural. So it will detect anything supernatural.
Okay, let me see this again. The supernatural aura. Okay, enchanted beings and objects. So
yeah.
If this were a magical trap, reasonably, it may reveal some information.
Yeah.
Okay, I would like to halt everyone. Allow me to read this and then get a feel for the energies weaved into and around it, if any. And I will begin incanting the words in what is the language again? Yeah.
Bacal is the Latin.
Bacal is the Latin. Yeah. Arcane language. So.
Yeah, arcane language is its own thing.
Is that what that's
yeah, that's
is that like a thieves' cant for wizards, or is that actually what we used to pass?
Yeah, it's the arcane language of the universe.
Okay. So then I'll begin incanting the appropriate mnemonics in Arcane and complete all the appropriate gestures and try and read auras in this area, I guess, focusing on that mechanism.
So you're not sensing anything from the mechanism or from the throne, but when you sort of turn your head to the side to report that back to the others, you sense an immensely powerful, malevolent presence behind the small door at the other side of the room.
Okay. Would that affect me on a visceral level enough to cause, like, the enormity of that, the power, the magnitude of this aura? Would it cause me inadvertently to maybe shrink or even appear shocked, for instance?
It makes you shudder and it makes your hairs stand up.
Okay, so that, I mean, immediately everyone would be, holy shit, just what happened? And once I catch my breath, I'll just point maybe a shaking hand to the door. There's something horrible waiting behind that. On a scale of 1 to 5, would this be off any other scale I've had for?
The only other things you've run into that meet that kind of power level was the demonic titan spawn in this temple, or the demon in the Mungoda temple, which you weren't here for. But
okay, then the strength of that aura matches the Titan spawn we fought earlier. At least.
What do you think, Father Abbas?
So, what are our basic choices again? Sorry.
What? So, exits from this room.
Something evil.
Yeah.
There's something evil
Okay.
in the room.
So you came through the double doors. There's a small door on the far side. There's the dais with the throne. There's some kind of mechanism in the throne. There's like 3 evenly spaced holes in the back of the throne chair, but no one seems to be able to figure out what that is. Behind the small door, there is some kind of horrible, nightmarish presence.
Does my vision detect anything from the throne as well? Oh.
No, there's no magic coming from the throne.
Well,
But you do sense.
I think our new players just dropped off.
No. He did say that might happen.
Yeah.
He's got the link. So. Oh, he says be right back.
So sorry about that. Are we still in the throne room?
Yes, still in the throne room.
Okay. Has anyone? You said there was a trident, correct?
Yes, there was a trident sat on the throne and a wreath of shells.
Okay, I'm gonna grab the wreath and the trident. Now, is the trident 3-pronged?
Yes, it is.
And are those prongs spaced equally about with the holes in the back of the throne?
They are indeed.
Now, who amongst us has the best acting ability and would like to pretend to be the king?
Probably you, actually.
Very good. All right. Well, I'm going to draw up my best regal impression, put on the wreath, and I'm going to. Well, actually, do you guys want to confront this evil thing, or do you want to wait?
We'll wait and see what happens with the throne first, I think.
Okay. Well, I'm going to draw up my best gesture, and with the wreath on, I'm going to sort of insert the trident into the throne.
Okay. With remarkably little noise, the throne slides forward, revealing steps leading down into the dark.
That was excellent, Jared. That was quite... Thank you for catching it.
You're welcome. To add to the drama, my phone connection, I couldn't speak, and I thought of this like 3 minutes ago, and I was dying. I had to restart my phone.
Lame. Okay. Well, it made everyone else look silly, so that's got to be worth something. Right. Do you want to take this tunnel?
Yes. If it avoids the evil behind the doors, then let's give it a try.
It would seem so. Okay, it's a fairly narrow passage, probably because it's secret. You go down a few steps, reach a small landing, turn 90 degrees right, go quite a long way, down quite a lot of stairs. Turn right again, another landing. Down some more stairs. Left, down yet more stairs, and then it finally opens out again into a small antechamber. At the bottom of the stairs, you reach an antechamber with 2 large brass doors, elaborately decorated with images of cavorting nereids and horses. Some of these images bring a blush to even the most worldly of you. Cavorting has a fairly broad sense here.
Oh, well, it's Poseidon's phone. I knew it.
Elegantly decadent.
Yes, you might want to take some rubbings.
The lost... yes.
God.
That is an absolutely fantastic idea. They could be preserved and then turned into have a proper artist. And oh my! You know how much that would fetch?
Thousands.
You do have the materials necessary if you want to.
Oh yes, I think it absolutely is something that should be done.
Yeah, I'm thinking of like certain kinds of like Hindu religious art.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, so yes, you take a few rubbings. After which I presume you'll want to enter.
oh God. Oh. What was that? Sorry, Grim.
After which I presume you'll want to enter.
Yeah, I'll lead. Yeah.
Okay.
The pun gets even stronger.
So you edge the doors open. And
Yes, and again.
make your way
Yes, them
inside.
open.
Believe it or not, this isn't my porn RPG stream.
Oh, thank God for that.
Right. The huge doors swing inwards to reveal a magnificent high-walled chamber of brilliant, gleaming white marble of the finest quality, better even than the entire rest of the temple, inlaid with gold in square and wave-like patterns. 6 statues of Nereids stand in a row to both left and right as if standing guard before a truly gigantic 20-metre-tall figure of Poseidos, worked in marble, serpentine and gold, which looms at the far end of the chamber. Behind the huge statue, you can see 2 enormous marble urns.
You said urns there, yeah?
Yes, urns. 2 urns.
Is there any glyphs on the urns? Any pictures or anything?
Okay, you edge forward while everyone else is sort of marvelling at the sheer majesty of the room. You get the impression that the statue of Poseidos is sort of scowling down at you as you edge forward.
I'll hold my head at him as if to say, "Eat."
As you move around him, you arrive at the urns. There's a door in the wall behind Poseidos, so it kind of disappears into the wall and the shadow. So these 2 enormous urns. One has a lid in the shape of a horse's head, almost like a chess figure. Yeah, like the knight. And one has a carved dolphin on the top of it.
I will cautiously go over to one and I'll open. Well, I'll put the gauntlet on just to be on the safe side. We'll call it my jar opening glove now. Do they have stoppers on the urns? Yeah.
They're really big, but yeah, the lids is one's in the shape of a horse, one's in the shape of a dolphin.
I will try and open the lid of the one with a shape with a horse shape on it.
Okay, it's been stuck on here for about 1,000 years, so it takes a bit of work, but you managed to pop it off. Inside, the urn is about half full of a whole mess of brass and mother of pearl tokens. So each one's about the size around of a clenched fist. Brass on one side, mother of pearl on the other.
Interesting.
When you say token, do you mean are they identical, or are they tokens as in offerings of those 2 materials in different shapes and sizes?
They're as identical as they can be made, so they're all approximately the same size. On the brass side, there are short inscriptions in ancient Amphibian.
And our friendly skull sage, Mr. Sadas.
If she could roll her eyes, she would, but she reads off a few of them. They seem to be prayers and offerings. Grant me fine crops and ward off the storms this winter, and that sort of thing.
Ah, yes, like paper charms hanging in a Shinto or Buddhist shrine where you make wishes. And okay. These are votive offerings then, votive tokens.
Yeah, just leave them as a trophy for Didos.
Well, I'm curious. You mentioned the operating costs of the castle and whatnot were quite significant, yes?
Yeah.
Yes. these tokens are in fine condition for the most part.
Yes.
And from what we know of our dealings with different nobles and merchant houses in what was the Italian city-state analog?
Pheromone.
Faramade. This kind of material would be highly collectible, no?
Certainly.
We should take them.
Okay. Yeah, the hirelings can sort of load them up into their packs. They've got plenty of room. Do you want to open the other urn?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
checking for traps.
Similar to the horse-shaped urn, this one is also full of offerings, but in this case, they're fish hooks, some of which are piercing, faded, and disintegrating pieces of leather. Whatever prayers were written on the leather is, yeah, they're faded away and gone. These aren't worth so much, and you don't really fancy sticking your hand into an urn full of fish hooks.
No. Get the point.
I would like to fish around with my staff to see if it thunks on anything hidden down there.
There doesn't seem to be anything hidden down there except more fish hooks.
I'll go up and check the door cautiously. Gwen.
Okay, it's a small, fairly unassuming door. It's just kind of lost in the shadow of the grand statue, and if you hadn't gone around it to check the jars, you probably wouldn't even have noticed it.
Any traps or anything on the door?
Make a trap sense roll.
19.
Is that a success?
Mm-hmm.
Is it?
Yes.
Seems that you would never fail, then.
No. I've got a perception of 14. My bad. Sorry, my bad.
Okay.
It says I have to get underside.
Yeah.
My bad.
No. Okay, so that is a failure. Alright, but you don't sense any traps either way.
No, don't sense any. No. Yeah. Sorry about that.
That's good.
Oh. Where's Brother Albus when you bloody need him? He's off my good luck charm.
Rub his belly for good luck.
No, rub his bald patch on his head. Yeah.
I have both in real life as well, you know that, right?
Oh. God, how much more of this temple do I have to go to? God, hope this is the last room. Oh. Well, okay, I'll just wait for the others at the door, Grim.
Okay.
I'm waiting in the damn cell.
Do you want to press on through this last door?
I'm waiting for the others. I'm not going alone. Safety in numbers. Roll die
Let's
together.
press forward, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Right, I'll push the door.
You open the door. There's a short length of corridor, which ends in a statue of a Nereid, with her hands held out as if to accept something, and her head leant back. There is a hairline straight crack running straight down the middle of her body, down her head, through her nose, across her lips, down between her breasts, all the way down.
That's one big crack. God. Did we pick up that blue conch on the beach?
No.
Well. Anyone got any ideas?
Go ahead.
She's like she's wanting something. The only thing I can think of is either that blue conch all the way back yonder, or something else.
What about the trident? Might it have a place in her hands?
Has she got hands like open, Grim, or is it like
Like outward and up, like a Venus flytrap spread open.
ooh, nasty? How big was the trident?
Pretty, full size, usable size.
And how big is she? Human size.
She's bigger than human size. You only really can see like the top third of her body, so she's giant size. She stretches right from the very ceiling of the corridor all the way down to the floor.
But she's cracked in half almost, or she has a hairline cracked.
It's a hairline
all the way.
cracked like a line, but it's exactly straight and it runs all the way down the center line of her body.
I mean, you could always just try to pry her open. Anybody have a crowbar?
No, we've
Or
got a
anything
trident.
like it? I don't know if I want. Well, we could try.
You've
if
got
we don't mind
unbreakable
breaking-
magical swords.
Yep. I
Yes,
just
the
don't want
swords
to
of
break.
Valandar. Oh, I'm sorry. The swords of Valandar are unbreakable, essentially. We've been using them as crowbars from time to time.
Amazing. All right, so I think I have one. So
Yep.
at risk of this whole thing going astray, I'm going to try to just pry it open, and yeah.
Okay, what is your magical defense?
My magical defense is 5.
5. Okay. You manage to get the sword, because it's supernatural, into the crack, get it deep enough, and manage to wrench it open. The Nereid's body splits open and opens up, revealing itself to be a door, and revealing a final chamber beyond. But you feel some kind of heavy magic laying over you.
Can I tell? Do I have any guess? What does it feel like?
Like something or someone is incredibly displeased with you.
That's too bad.
Once the doors open, you're able to step through. This is another remarkable chamber. A great chamber of white marble carved with hundreds of ornate representations of the sea and marine animals upon its walls and ceiling. It's supported by 2 broad pillars. The floor is crowded with arrays of golden statuary, pots and urns sealed with wax. In the middle of this glimmering vault, circled around a huge marble sculpture of a conch shell, you see a mass of open bronze caskets, which appear to contain bars of serpentine, aquamarine, and a large number of pearls. A formidable array of ancient weaponry and armour hangs upon the walls.
What's the armor made out of? Back from you.
So, jackpot.
Yeah.
So, a whole bunch of golden statues. These sealed pots, unlike the pots elsewhere, seem to, when you crack one of them open to check, what's within seems to be perfectly preserved. Rare spices and fragrant oils, worth more than the statues, in fact. Hundreds of pearls. Countless pieces of worked serpentine.
Are we talking wagon loads of each of these things?
Yeah, it's going to take a couple of days to get everything out of here.
Dear gods.
A whole bunch of exquisitely worked aquamarine.
I'm gonna check the perimeter of this room. I want to make sure that there isn't something about to get the drop on us.
There doesn't seem to be anything different or dangerous here. You find a huge, extremely rare black opal. The only people who would even be able to consider buying that would be royalty of some kind. So yeah, there's a bronze short sword, which appears to be magical. A large bronze and leather shield, which appears to be magical, which Alain called dibs on. A javelin with a barbed head. Now, Yannick was scouting around the room, wasn't he? Can you roll equal to or under your perception, please, Jared?
That's a success. I rolled a 1, actually.
Nice. Okay, so as you're making your way around the room, checking for traps or any statues that might come to life and attack you or anything,
Yeah.
you catch a glimpse inside this carved conch, and you can see that there are more items squirreled away within it. Weirdly, there doesn't seem to be any way to open the conch. It's as if it was built around these things. So the only way to get at it would be to smash the conch to pieces.
Which, of course, I'll blow the conch.
It does go toot, but nothing else happens with it.
So this conch this is just a normal size.
No,
conch?
it's a carved marble representation of a conch, about the size of a coffer,
Right, and then inside of it has all sorts of goodies.
which you can't get at. And they're much as you check, and I assume everyone else will check using their special senses and everything, there doesn't seem to be any mechanism or trick or anything to this carved conch. It's literally been built around these items, and they radiate quite powerful magic. So does anyone want to try anything to get it open, or is everyone just forgetting to unmute themselves?
No. I'm a little stunned at what might be
Inside.
inside or here, but I'm not sure where to look because there are no other exits. And you said there were other bits of loot stashed away in other, like not just in this grown conch, but up above somewhere else.
No, just inside the conch is the only place you haven't checked. There's something in there, powerful magic.
I'm gonna
Can we shake it?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, go on. Jared, what were you saying?
Oh, well, I wanted to try my perception of sorcery skill because I want to know if the conch itself was magical, not just the contents within.
Okay. Is that a warlock skill, is it?
Well, it's a skill or spell. Like it's in my spell book, so I guess it's a spell.
Okay, it's be a spell. Let me just look it up to see exactly how it differs from the others. Perception of sorcery. Okay, cost you 1 magic point. Okay, yeah, that just allows you to detect that these are magical, and the other items that you suspected of being magical are confirmed also. So the short sword is magical, the shield is magical, the javelin is magical, and whatever these items are in here are magical.
Right. Is the conch itself magical?
No.
Alright. I mean, we could just smash it open. I don't like it, but we could.
You think it was wrought with magic, but it's not. magical itself.
Well, wearing the crown and wielding and holding the trident, I'm going to command it to open.
It stubbornly refuses.
Okay.
I think we may indeed have to smash that beautiful piece of art.
Well, strong people in front.
Right.
I'll take a covering position somewhere closer to a corner.
With magical blades of Valandar, even ancient, well-crafted marble doesn't stand much chance, any more than animated statues did earlier. So, in relatively short order, and doing the minimal amount of damage possible, you manage to smash your way into the conch and pull out the things within. There's a wreath of shells that looks broadly the same as the one that Yannick is wearing, but this one seems somehow more glorious, like it has an inner glow, and none of the shells are chipped or damaged in any way, and it radiates magic. There's a great trident, which is similar in size and shape to the one you took from the throne as well. But this one, again, seems to glow with a sort of inner light, almost like light through water. Seems to flow over the surface of it the whole time. And it feels light but powerful in your hand. And finally, there is a bronze bowl, which glows with that same internal light. There's some kind of clear fluid within it, and a small trident floats on that liquid and just twists around and points in all different directions.
That would be the compass group.
It would.
I'll pick it up.
Was the compass what we were here for? Was that mentioned in the merchant's mission?
Yes.
It's what your sponsor originally wanted, but before he ended up dead. So. So all that remains is to take as much as you can carry now and get out.
I can see we're going to be like Jeffrey Owens in a sec. We're going to be making a run for it.
Pardon me?
I can see we're going to be like Jesse Owens. We're going to make a run for it. Because I bet you all the money in the world, as soon as we go topside, that door is going to open up and something far greater is going to come out chasing after us.
Yeah, so let's take down the stuff that represents the most transportable wealth. You know, like the diamonds and jewelry and so forth, and leave the big brick bars or whatever. Sorry if I got the details wrong.
That's great. Yeah, so make sure you take the magic items and the more easily transported items, and leave probably the statues.
Yeah, because the spices are great, but I mean, I don't know if those big urns of spices, I don't know how many we can really take.
Yeah.
No.
Did any of the armor show any magic there, Grim?
No, it just seems to be well made and well preserved. So the only things that were magic were the short sword, the shield, the javelin, the trident, the compass, and the shell wreath.
Some of the arms and armor, however, I think might be even more valuable than some of what we've already gathered, because they would appeal to men who want to play.
Yeah, they're a bit big and unwieldy, so you know, if the whole complex doesn't collapse behind you when you leave, you can always come back for the rest. But...
a little bit of foreshadowing, perhaps.
Okay, so with the loot that you can safely carry, you make your way back out and emerge, blinking into the light from the sea cave. What did you name the Nereid? Can you remember? You did give her a name. Aqua, wasn't it?
Aqua.
Yeah. Aqua comes running up the beach towards you. So sprinting, slaps up, slap bare feet on sand.
Is she
What's up?
just happy, or is she gleeful about something?
No, her face is like a storm cloud. She looks worried, upset about something.
My bad.
She runs straight up to Keridon, grabs hold of her sleeve, and starts babbling away in ancient Amphibian.
Whoa, slowly. Mr. Sadis, I'll invoke the skull. You have to translate for us. It's urgent.
It's a bit odd because she can speak Alislandic, but she's just in such a panic you think she's reverted to her original language. She says she tried to stop them, but she's going too fast, even for me. Aqua points a hand out to sea.
The ship is basically fucked off.
Well,
How long have we been away, Grim?
You've been 2 days away from the ship.
And is that indeed the case, that the ship is leaving?
You look out, and you can see the ship. It's still sat there where it weighed anchor. But she's just repeatedly pointing her finger and jabbering. Can you all make perception rolls, please? A D20 equal to or under your perception.
4.
Fail.
I rolled a 1.
Nice.
Failed.
2 successes, 2 not.
Okay, and Keridon got a crit. So those who noticed feel the air pressure just suddenly go up. And before the others notice, you see, well, Keridon sees ripples of magical energy moving through the sea and stretching up from the sea into the clouds and back down again.
Like a monster storm is brewing?
Yeah. Aqua's tugging at your sleeve and trying to pull you back towards the cave.
Okay, we have to go inside and seek shelter. We have to hide. I'll implore her in Alislandic.
Yeah,
we have to hide.
Yes, quick.
Okay.
I tried. I told them no, but so yeah. As you move back in towards the cave, the sky rapidly turns dark, and then a monstrous wave surges out of the ocean, frothing and taking on the appearance of great white horses that turn grey and black as the wave increases in size, and then it crashes down upon the vessel and smashes it to splinters. And the great swell of the sea rushes back in towards the shore in an enormous wave.
Oh.
Someone's not happy with us.
Aqua moves herself between you and the entrance to the cave, and as the wave hits the shore, she holds up her hands and holds the water back until the surge finally slows and stops, and the water rushes back again.
Is it going to be swinging back and forth, like an echo, or should we flee, or is it dissipating?
It rushes back in a couple of times, but with nothing like as much force, and then gradually the sea returns to normal.
Okay.
I'll never sail in this town again.
Sorry, what was that?
I said I'll never sail in this town again.
Since the very intense moment of fear that gripped Aqua should be subsided somewhat now, I'll prompt her in Alislandic then to explain more, please. Who did you tell, and what did you tell them?
I went back into the sea to see my sisters and my father, and they wanted to destroy all of you, but I told them that you saved me, and they said they would spare you, but they could not spare the ship.
So basically, they're cleaning up all evidence of all evilness. Cheers for that, Aqua. Cheers for the heads up.
Fortunately for you guys, you already kind of anticipated this eventuality, and Milano should be along in a couple of weeks to come and get you.
Meanwhile, we are getting drunk on thousands upon thousands of year old wine.
Yeah, and there's goats to eat, and Aqua
Crab sticks.
can fetch fish for you. So it's a nice holiday for a couple of
Yeah.
weeks on the white sands of an unspoilt amphibian island.
Drinking some wine.
Well,
Whoa.
I'm afraid that's the end of the adventure. A little bit sooner than I'd anticipated. So yeah, after a couple of weeks and a couple of extra days, because Faramane men don't do anything at a fast pace, Milano does eventually show up. Aqua swims out to meet his vessel and guides a launch through the waves and the rocks to pick you up from the shore. With Milano's enthusiastic assistance, you're able to retrieve everything from the temple and to rescue the old people from the island.
Excellent. That's very good.
And then after...
Sheridan, sorry for interrupting, Grim.
That's
Sheridan,
Yeah.
do you think we should give this to Milano? I'll hold the compass out. Because the thing is he's a merchant. We do have our own ship, but the thing is, at the same time, is he is going to be totally in our debt if we give him this.
I think we should instead keep it as an item with which we can lease to others.
Yep, I'm up for that. Yep, good idea.
Okay. An uneventful 3 weeks sailing back, and you're back in Faramane, sleeping in your own beds, counting your treasure. So I will update the character sheets for you and divide out the money. Just let me know if there's anything particular you want to do in the downtime, really. You're going to have about a month of downtime. So that's enough time to brew some potions or do some alchemical work or whatever anyone wants to do.
Does Aqua come with us or does she go home?
Sorry, one at a time.
Sorry, John. Go for it, John.
No, I wasn't saying anything except I'll make a note of what I'll like to do, and I'll
Let me know
next time. I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, cool. Yeah, if the rest of you just want to do that, just message me or whatever if there's anything particular you want to do in downtime. Probably most of you can justify learning some basic ancient Amphibian, if nothing else. All right, well, we'll wrap that up for now then. So then, next game is Saturday, same time, and we'll be doing... I think it's... what is it? Cold Fury, that's what we're doing next, which is another mini campaign of very, very loosely connected adventures.
As I was saying, Grim, before John let John say, does Aqua come with us or does she go back home?
Aqua will return to the sea, but you have a friend beneath the waves, which may or may not come up at some point.
No
Is
problem.
Cold Fury something like an adventure path
Yeah,
or a module?
yeah. It's so what we just played was Fury of the Deep, and then which was sort of loosely connected set of adventures. Really, one adventure, but Cold Fury's more separate episodes, so it's more like an adventure path. Okay,
Thank you.
cool.
Thanks for running it, Jane.
No, any time. Hopefully, can you make it Saturday or not?
Myself, no, I'm sorry.
Okay, no problem. All right, I'll see you all later then, and whoever's watching, hope you had fun.
Right.
Ciao.
See ya.
Now I've just got to find out how to switch this off. There we go.